Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, there are rumors about something related to Zelda. I bet it's her cousin. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including rumors of Metroid Prime 2 coming to Switch. And then on Thursday, we're celebrating Disney Illusion Island by putting Disney characters into Nintendo properties. But Mark, in the meantime, how's it going?
It's going great. Can I tell you something that's like a personal goal for myself?
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I have like visions of me becoming someone who wants to spend their day gardening. For some reason, that seems
just
like...
someone who wants to do this? Your vision is to be someone who wants to do it.
That's right.
Whether or not you actually do it
Right.
is a separate question.
No,
Okay,
it's
great.
true. Like baby steps, right?
Right.
I think my ultimate dream
Uh-huh.
is, I actually want to go outside and garden. But at least right now...
Right. Your ultimate dream is go the full Jessica Fletcher, though, right? Because she's got a little garden.
She does. Oh, yeah. She's
Yeah.
like into roses. She knows what kind
Yeah.
of beetles are attacking her roses. She
Right.
knows what to do.
Mhm.
I'm not there yet. Where I'm trying to get right now
Yeah.
is like wanting to go outside and pull, and this is a bad way to put it. Then maybe this is why I'm failing. But like I want to like go outside and pull weeds. You know what I mean? Like I want to be the person that's like, I should do that.
Well, so it's tough because it's hot.
It is really hot.
It's really hot right now. Do you have like a big floppy hat
No.
to keep the sun on? Mark,
I know.
what are we doing here?
I
This
know.
This is clown shoes.
I
You
know.
got to go in there.
No, I'm
you
doing-
got to get the right equipment.
I'm doing it all wrong.
You're doing it all wrong.
Actually, I would look. And I'm not saying this for anybody to feel bad for me. I look terrible in a hat. It's just the reality of my life. Like a baseball.
I've seen you wear baseball
So
hats.
I have learned to like wear a baseball cap.
This is all in your head. You
No,
know that, right?
no. It's not. Okay, so when I was first dating my husband, one of our first dates, we were at like Universal City Walk, where love happens.
Yes.
And we went into like a lids or something because we were having this conversation. Not about me wanting to work up like gardening and not owning a big floppy hat, but like just being like, hey, here's the thing about my head. It's weird and like doesn't fit hats very well. And he's like, no, I don't believe you. So we went into a lids, put on a baseball cap, and he was like, oh, you're right. But here's
He's
what I
not
found.
going to
Here's
deny
what I
the
found.
premise on just first date. Is that what you said?
No,
early date.
Here's
early date. Okay.
Here is what I have found, and here's a tip for other people with like weird shaped heads. The snapback ones, like the ones where like snap adjust for whatever reason, they don't work. Like for my head, they're like they look too wide.
Yeah, sure.
But the ones that you can like manually adjust it,
Where it's like a buckle.
yeah, where it's like a buckle, those tend to work fine because for whatever reason they
they're like less firm because the snapback has got like that plastic thing in it, which I think makes the whole thing a little bit more rigid.
All of this is to say, I would love to own a big floppy
Get a big floppy hat.
sun hat.
Get gloves that are like too big for you, and like a pair of boots.
I mean, this is really and genuinely what I want. Nothing sounds nicer to me than like sitting outside tending to my like imaginary garden that doesn't exist.
Right. Your husband brings lemonade out to you. What's in that garden, Mark? Like flowers and stuff, or like carrots?
Probably carrots. Because
carrots.
Those seem hardy, right? Like you can't mess up a carrot.
You can mess up a carrot, but that's why you want something hardy. Is that like
harder to mess up, right?
It's not that you feel indelicate or anything.
No. I would love to get to the point where I'm like, like nurturing, like rare buds that I'm like crossbreeding with each other to make new like species. Like
you're Mendel up in that, making new peas.
I would love to get to that point, but I feel like in the beginning, I just got to grow a pumpkin or something that can't die.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's try that. Let's start with some pumpkins. You got a little space in the backyard.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a little pumpkin patch.
If you would like to support Mark's Pumpkin Patch, which maybe is what we're going to change the name of our Patreon to, you can go to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where you can support us with money, if you so choose. If you do support us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you have access to our monthly episodes of miniseries. We have done NCS Detective Club, where we watch the great detective shows on television, and we are currently in the midst of NCS Goes Broadway. For our July episode, we are going to be talking about the last 5 years.
August episode.
Sure. Sure. July was Chicago.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're an 8 or 16-bit subscriber, like Patrick was saying, you get access to all of our miniseries, so anything we've done in the past and anything we will do in the future. And if you're an 8-bit or 16-bit subscriber, actually, I guess all subscribers.
All subscriber levels, yes.
You can vote on what our next miniseries should be. So after NCS Goes Broadway, we'll put up another poll, and listeners, patrons can choose what our next miniseries will be.
And thank you to everyone who does support us. We have a new patron. Thank you to Big Baby Craig. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Also, if you want to support us in a non-monetary way, beyond listening to the show, which we appreciate as well, you can join our Discord. People are having conversations about what they're playing and what they are observing in the world of Nintendo, also about what happens on this show all the time. Maybe some gardening tips. We don't know. People are going to tell us you can't grow pumpkins in Southern California. It doesn't make sense. You can join our Discord by emailing us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and we will send you an invitation to that Discord. If you have asked for an invitation and I send you a link and you click on the link and the link no longer works, that's because they only work for a certain number of hours. Feel free to email me back. I will issue you a new link. It is no bother to me. It is fine. I'm happy to do it.
I've been feeling you're a true hero.
Thank you.
I have been feeling a little bit of Discord FOMO because work has been really busy, and so I haven't been able to.
You got to get in there.
Keep up with all the conversations. And
if you're playing Pikmin Bloom and you want to squat up on those 100,000 step goals during a week, we're organizing that every week, and just about every week we do it. Mark, we fell just a little bit short of the flower planting goal this week, but coming up this week, we're gonna crush it. All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. So I've not had a ton of time to play games this week. But I do continue to earn tickets in Tetris 99. I'm a little bit more of a I've got it on a routine now. So it's like the numbers are steadily going back up. I also keep playing Tears of the Kingdom despite the fact that I have beaten it, which I'm finding a little perplexing. I think the game has more post-Ganon legs than, for me at any rate, than Breath of the Wild did.
I realized, so you and I were texting a little bit early, or last week, I guess, about Tears of the Kingdom, and I said my goal this weekend, my husband was out of town for a little bit, and so my goal this weekend was to go ahead and defeat Ganon. And gosh darn it.
Just go ahead and defeat Ganon.
Yeah,
just go ahead and take him out.
Despite my good intentions, I did not end up doing it because I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna finish these stable quests. What's the name of the pelican?
Yeah. His name is he
Harry,
says
right?
Sorlong.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and finish those. And then I got distracted. I'm like, maybe I'm just gonna finish a couple more of these. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna get the rest of the shrines.
All of them?
But then I realized I have 50 left.
Right.
I think I am at 110 or something like this. Maybe there's 45.
That's about where I think I have 112 or something.
But I just know that in the Hebra Mountains there have to be at least 6 more because I have so few in that region.
Yeah.
That I feel like there just has to be a lot because I haven't really gone up there other than when I went to the Rito Village for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am truly at the point now where I'm like, do you know what? I am just gonna go defeat Ganon because I'm not gonna be able to do everything I want to do in this game.
Ganondorf.
Oh right. Sorry, Ganondorf.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna be able to do everything I want to do in this game.
Right.
like right now.
Right. Okay. So here we go. Mark, we're putting you on notice and everyone who listens to the show on notice. Next week, Thursday, we are doing a deep dive spoiler cast where we will talk about every second of this game. Not at all limited to not the end of the game. Uh-oh. That was a strange sentence. We're going to talk about how this game ends. We're going to talk about every plot twist and everything that we encountered from the time we turned it on to the time we turned it off. It's going to be a great conversation.
I hope this isn't the week where it's like, my husband's like, hey, I'm out shopping and I think I found a big floppy sun hat that would fit your head perfectly.
Yeah,
but I need you to come and try it on. And I'm like, but I'm just about to be Ganondorf. And this is the only time I'll be able to do it. Oof, I'm getting sweaty just thinking about having to make that choice.
Yeah. Well, Mark, and you know that I'm supportive of your gardening ambitions.
Thank you.
And your need to find a hat that will fit your weird head perfectly.
Uh-huh.
But if you abandon your mission to take down Ganondorf to try on this hat, I will never forgive you. I've jumped in a little bit here and there too. I played some Mario Kart this week. I played a little bit of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, just like hopped into the world of Light and just like messed around with it for a little while.
Remind me, did you ever beat World of Light?
I did a thing where it like revealed a like second part to the map, and I was like, oh god, more of this. So no, I never. And like it's sort of unclear to me. Like as far as single player modes go, I think it's neat, but like ultimately, the super static world map that you just like move like a little icon around feels pointless. It feels to me like it should just be a menu or like here's the next fight. And like it's so weird playing with the spirits on, and you need to have spirits equipped in order to like get through these fights. When it's just like, okay, I'm sort of just like auto equipping like the strongest ones, and when it's like, oh, it's low gravity resist. Great. Okay, now I can do this. That like, I don't know. There's sort of like the illusion of progress or the illusion of strategy, where you just have to like keep applying higher level things. I don't know. It feels a little pointless, but it's just like a grindy kind of thing to like occupy my mind for a little bit. Was enjoying it.
Let me ask you this,
Ask
because
me this.
I don't want to make Shigeru Miyamoto mad. Did you pick up Pikmin 4? I feel like we got to talk about Pikmin 4.
We do got to talk about Pikmin 4, yes.
Because it came out last week.
And great point. Yes, I did pick it up. And I played the demo, and your progress from the demo carries over. So when it was like, do you want to continue from where you left off on the demo? I was like, you bet. I don't want to play that again. And then it was like, oh yeah, I haven't played this now in 2 weeks.
Oh,
and
sure,
like, do I remember exactly how to do this or where I was? So I played 1 day's worth and did a dungeon-y kind of thing. Which is all very fun and very good. I watched so many Pikmin die that like it hadn't happened to me in the demo, but like I was just crushed or burned in a fire, and I was like, oh no. But I made it through the day and had a very good time doing it. But like I said earlier, I don't have a ton of time to play. Didn't have a ton of time to play this weekend. But what about you?
Yeah, I picked it up, but I have not played it yet. Do you know what? The reason I didn't is kind of the reason that when you got back into Pikmin 4, you're like, oh, like I haven't played this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But in reverse for me, where I'm like, I don't think I can put Tears of the Kingdom down.
Right.
Until I am done with it, because even though it's a little bit different because the DLC for Breath of the Wild like didn't come out until like months after I had finished playing Breath of the Wild, like my initial playthrough. But I remember booting up the Champions Ballad and being like, how do I do this again?
Yeah.
Like, what is the control scheme for this game?
Well, and when you think about it, the number of buttons you're holding at any one time is absurd.
And it's so going so smooth right now.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I am worried about losing that in the time that I step away to play Pikmin or something else and then like going back to it. So I really am. It's just another reason where I'm like, this has got to be the week.
Yeah, you got to get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How you doing on depths exploration?
I have not really spent much time doing it. I want to, and not even like just the kind of like completionist part of me that this game really taps into.
Yeah.
Especially as I get more shrines on my map, I'm like, oh, it is actually super easy for me to find these.
Right, the light roots.
Yeah. And so, but I want to like explore everything, but I also feel like the depths. I also feel this way about the Sky Islands, although I like those more. I find both of them just like a little bit samey and a little bit kind of just like too samey for me.
Yeah.
Where it's like the depths, there's not enough going on that anymore, and I'm like high level enough that, or like I have good enough weapons that it's like I'm not really scared of anything down there,
right,
for the most part.
Here's what I find about the depths, and like it's fine if this is not your experience with it. But what a weird disclaimer. Of course, it's fine. This is not your experience with it. But well, there is less variety down there. When I find something interesting, I'm like thrilled, and every now and then there is something very strange in the depths. Every time I stumble on like a Yiga encampment, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I other than like one or two, at the first time that you like encounter them down there, I haven't stumbled on any more down there because I just haven't spent that much time, other than where like I have to go for a specific quest.
Yeah. Well, and I've also like, as I've been playing, like, have found, or kind of come to the realization that anywhere where there's water on the overworld map, that's you can't cross that area. It's an unclimbable wall in the depths. And anywhere where there's like a mountain on the surface, that's going to be like a crevasse in the depths, and vice versa. So like,
so they're literal mirror images.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, interesting.
And that also means that there are that the depths are like sectioned off in a way that the rest of the map isn't. It appears to be a single continuous map, but it's not. There are hard stops.
I didn't realize
frequently
that.
Throughout the depths.
I did not realize that.
So like where you access it from genuinely matters, and that has been a fun little like wrinkle for me to explore like the various like holes and like entry points into the depths from the surface. I'm also trying really hard to upgrade some of my armor sets right now, especially the diving suit, or the squirrel, whatever it is.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because when it's fully leveled up, Mark, do you know this? When that suit is fully leveled up, you can slam diving speed into the ground and take no damage.
No, I didn't know that.
Isn't that amazing?
That is really fun.
I just want so badly to do one of those things where you're in the Sky Island, dive all the way through the surface of the earth to the depths, and just slam
that
and
is
be
so cool.
fine.
That's so fun. I really have neglected armor sets. I have so few of them, and I haven't leveled them up at all. But I did finally get like the 3 great fairies.
There are 4.
Or did I do all 4?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe I just did 3. Is there one that is different from like the getting the band back together?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so then I am missing one.
Okay.
I think I only have 3.
You put that band back together though, that's great.
I did
right?
put the band back together.
Love the band.
But
band? Love the band.
The thing with the depths is, I know it's like everything else with this game, where I'm like, I don't really know that I'm interested in it, and then once I'm down there, I just want to keep going. You know, I'm like, ooh, what is over there? Let me like fill out this map a little bit more. So yeah, I do feel like, obviously, how we did not really intend to turn this into, hey, let's talk about Tears of the Kingdom, and
no, that's next week.
That's what it turned into again.
Yes.
But so the game definitely has its hooks in me. But I'm looking for an out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I keep saying that, and yet I'm not able to actually execute on it. But this will be the week.
Yeah, and I find that this is the experience, and kind of like everyone is having it, where it's like, I'm probably about ready to be done, but I'm also not. Like, I don't know what my life is like without this game in it. How long has it been out now? 2 months? Something like that?
Yeah, because it came out the middle of May.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And here we are nearing the end of
July.
Anything else we're playing?
Not on my end.
I mentioned Pikmin Bloom. You keeping up with Pikmin Bloom?
I am a little bit, yeah. I've been doing less walking, just not had as much time. But when I do go for walks, I have been enjoying turning it on.
planting some flowers, fighting some mushrooms, that sort of thing. Yeah, I love it so much. Also, the Pikmin 4 Tetris 99 theme has become my default theme. So I'm just living in Pikmin's world at this point. All right, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
The only thing that I really want to call out is on Friday, July 28th, Disney Illusion Island is released.
Very exciting.
This is the 4-player can-be co-op, or I guess it's up to 4 players.
Yes.
Co-op platformer that looks like it's kind of like New Super Mario Brothers.
Kind of like New Super Mario Brothers, kind of like the modern Rayman games.
Yes, yeah.
Origins and Legends, which are great platformers. It's and we will talk about this a little bit more on this Thursday's episode. But my hope is that this is good. Like it could be. I feel like the range of quality that this could be is like it's endless in either direction, right?
Yeah.
It could be like a possible game of the year contender, and it could be trash.
Yeah. It will be really interesting to see. It's $40 in the US, which I feel like is.
Do you think that's a sign?
I do think it's a sign, but I don't know of what.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
yes.
maybe it's like, hey, they like priced it appropriately, and for $40 is a great package. Or they're like, oh, this is not good, so we're only going to charge $40 for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does feel like, and I've not been like super plugged in about this game, but I don't think we've gotten like too many like hands-on impressions anywhere.
I don't really remember reading any
kind
previews
of just
or anything.
Like we got that like second trailer recently with the release date, and then I mean like reviews will start to pop later this week. So I mean I assume, but yeah, who really knows?
Yeah, I mean I think I'll end up picking it up one way or the other because I've definitely spent more money on way worse games.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is.
Right.
You know?
Are generally speaking, are you a Mickey game guy? Do you like Mickey games?
I don't really have very much experience playing them. Like, I can't think of a Mickey. I know that there were like Capcom platformers in the Super Nintendo era.
Yeah, in the 16-bit era, and there was also the one of my favorite NES games, Mickey Mousecapades, which is a punishingly difficult like hard platform action exploration game, like borderline Metroidvania, but you don't power up ever. So hard. The game is so hard.
And then on the Nintendo 64, there was a kart racer.
Yeah.
But
and then there's the Epic Mickey games.
Oh yeah, in which I played the first one. Did I buy Epic Mickey 2? I can't remember. But the I don't have a ton of experience. I played like well, you actually don't even play as Mickey in Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, which is like a Capcom game on the NES. So yeah, I don't really have any Mickey game experience.
Well, my hope is that this can like set off a chain of like Mickey can be, because like why not Mickey in games, right? Like let's just get him. And look, I know that it sounds like I'm soft pedaling us into the Kingdom Hearts franchise. This is not what I mean.
It's a slippery slope.
It is. All right, Mark, next week we're going to do all the Kingdom Hearts games. We're going to play them between now and Thursday, and that's what we're going to talk about. All right, really kind of seems like nothing else of note is coming out next week, so we will close out the new releases. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It is time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I'll talk about something not at all Nintendo-related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark suggested to us in our Discord the topic draft time travel movies has been suggested. So I'm
by Lego Laws.
By Lego Law. Thank you, Lego Laws. I am starting the recording now, and we'll also kind of set up the rules here. We're going to be drafting for a theoretical time travel movie film festival. It's a single weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One movie on Friday night or 2 movies on Friday night?
2 movies on Friday night.
2 movies on Friday night, a Saturday matinee,
Uh-huh.
a Saturday night movie, and a Sunday matinee.
Yes.
Okay.
So 5 movies total.
5 movies total.
Okay.
If you want to really like program a double feature, like a set of movies together, that should be Friday night.
Right. Okay.
Do we want to do it snake style, where like the person who,
That seems fair.
Okay,
yeah.
great. So when you draft the movie, you have to say where you're putting it.
Okay.
Okay. So Mark, why don't you go first?
Okay. I am going to draft. It's. You know what? I'm going to start with 13 going on 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great pick. Great pick.
The Jennifer Gardner,
Mm-hmm.
like comedy. Where it is a comedy. I don't know why I hesitated there.
Right.
But yeah, 13 going on 30. That's my first pick.
Where's that going?
That is going to be the Saturday matinee.
Okay, Saturday matinee. Perfect. I'm going to because it's there and I gotta take it. I'm gonna take Back to the Future for the first Friday night show.
Oh sure, yeah, that's a great pick.
It's kind of like the quintessential. It is just it's a comedy, right? But it's like kind of a perfect movie. So I'm going Back to the Future, part 1. And I don't anticipate drafting any others. Oh, so now I get to go back to back.
Now you get to go again.
Okay, so I'm going to just take for Friday night that I'm going to go a little bit still kind of funny, but like darker, more action-oriented. I'm going to go with All You Need Is Kill, Live, Die, Repeat,
yeah,
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. That's a good one.
A great Tom Cruise performance, a great Emily Blunt performance. Tom Cruise dies and relives the same period over and over again. It's awesome.
So that means I get to go back to back, right?
Now you get back to back. Yeah.
Okay, so the 2
and I've got my Friday programmed.
Okay, well I'm gonna knock my Friday out now.
Okay,
and the 2 movies I'm gonna do for Friday is I'm gonna start with Looper. That'll be the first Friday movie, and then the second one is going to be Tenet.
Oh, your Friday is a little intense today.
So Tenet is a movie that, like, I do not understand the plot of it at all, but, like, just the vibes of that movie, like, intense, yes, but, like, if you just pretend the dialogue's in another language, like, just like visually and audio, the audio of it and everything, like, Tenet is really cool.
All right, I have not seen Tenet, but starting your festival with Looper, Looper first, and then
that's
Tenet,
right. That's right.
That's good. All right, for my Saturday matinee, I know I already have a time loop movie on here, but I gotta go with Groundhog Day.
That's such a good one.
And that's a fun thing to like see in the afternoon, right? So Groundhog Day. And then moves me on to Saturday night. I feel like I got to do another another darker one or something like that. I'm going T2, baby. Terminator 2.
Oh, another good
Judgment
one.
Day. Has got the original Terminator has some great sci-fi time travel-y stuff in it, but 2 just goes nuts with it. So, and is also just one of the best movies out there. All right, Mark, your final 2 picks. You've got your Saturday night and your Sunday left.
Okay. It's a Sunday matinee, right?
Yeah, it's a Sunday matinee.
Okay.
Because people got to fly home.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Saturday will be like a lighter day.
Okay.
So on Saturday, I'm going to do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Dang it. Yeah, okay, great, good.
And then on Sunday, I'm going to do the original Planet of the Apes. Does that count? That counts, right? Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, he travels forward in time, which is not anything special, but yeah, I think that counts. So, sorry, you said... Sorry, I was...
Bill and Ted's Excellent
Yes,
Adventure
Ted.
for Saturday night. And then Sunday is going to be the original Planet of the Apes.
Okay, that sound you're hearing right now is the ensemble walking off stage to no applause. But I'm gonna finish this because all I have to do is draft my Sunday matinee.
Oh, hi.
And I'm gonna go with my Sunday matinee is gonna be Interstellar. We're putting Christopher Nolan on this thing. He's left and right, just like all the way. And is it a little bit of a spoiler to say that Interstellar is a time travel movie? Like maybe.
Yeah, I guess. It's a thing that happens in the movie.
Yeah. So Mark, why don't you run us through your?
Sure.
Your
Yeah.
program,
Okay.
and I'll
So
run us through mine.
on my time travel movie marathon weekend, my festival weekend, on Friday, it's a double feature of Looper, and then even later on Friday is Tenet.
You have a crushing Friday night.
And then on Saturday, my Saturday matinee is 13 going on 30, and Saturday night is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
A light and breezy Saturday night.
And then Sunday, we are closing things out with Planet of the Apes.
The original Charlton Heston Planet
That's
of the Apes.
right.
And for me, Friday night is Back to the Future, followed by The Edge of Tomorrow, which is that's a fun double feature right there. And then Saturday matinee is Groundhog Day, and at night is Terminator 2, and then Sunday matinee is Interstellar. I feel good about both these festivals. I would go to either one.
Absolutely.
And then we were accompanied today by the Elb Philharmonie Hamburg. As they this is a recording that we've never used before, Mark.
Elb Philharmonie is my favorite character in Wicked.
All right, let's close this out. And open up the news.
Just laughing to myself. Could we be hearing about Metroid Prime 2 Remastered soon? So, on a recent episode of Giant Bomb's Last of the Nintendogs podcast, journalist Jeff Grubb said, quote, Metroid Prime 2 Remastered probably is coming out relatively soonish. That is happening. That probably is happening relatively soonish. It's going to be mostly what people want, right? It's going to have the modern controls, and it's going to be HD and things like that, but it's not going to get the love and care that Metroid Prime got. No.
Okay, so the love and care that Metroid Prime got, so just in addition to, like, upscaling to HD, they also, like, redid a bunch of textures and stuff, right?
Yeah, like, the game looks way
amazing.
better. Yeah. And I feel like a little bit of, really, it's like rumor history is in order here, because and I at this point I can't even remember the supposed like order of events exactly, but basically, like, while Metroid Prime 4 was originally being worked on by Bandai Namco Singapore, Retro was working on Metroid Prime Remastered with the idea that, like, they would put, like, because they were being, like, an assist studio for, I can't even remember the details, and it's all rumored, so I'm probably getting it messed up.
Sure.
But I feel like the important part was that before Metroid Prime Remastered was announced, before we knew it was real, the rumor was that Retro had done Metroid Prime Remastered, then that was part of the reason that Nintendo was like, we're going to give you Metroid Prime 4. And that meant
But all of that also assumes that the Metroid Prime Remaster was done, like, 4 years ago.
Right, which we kind of, like, know
is also part of the rumor,
yeah, done for a while. And then the other part of this was that when they got Metroid Prime 4, that Nintendo was like, okay, we're going to have another studio look at what you did with Metroid Prime Remastered and use that as a basis for redoing Metroid Prime 2 and 3, not redoing, for, like, making this rumored version of 2 and 3,
right.
which is, like, HD graphics, the new control schemes, but not, like, brand new textures, not kind of like reimagining the game.
I mean, let me ask you this, because, like, the Prime remake is not reimagined, right?
Right.
Like, it's running on it is, like, the geometry of the game is identical, right? And what's better about it are, look, I don't know, I'm not a game developer or anything, but a lot of what we're seeing there is, like, improved textures and, like, better lighting,
and
right?
things like that. Yeah.
And, like, I wonder if once you have done, like, that work to develop the, like, some of the better textures, and just, like, general, like, better lighting effects in general, if you can simply apply that to other games running in the same engine.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me that, like, if you were going to do that kind of like graphical upgrade,
Yeah.
that you would actually have to do that for every like new texture in Echoes, which I'm assuming is true. But it's also possible, like, yeah, I have no idea what this will end up being if it ends up being real. But because maybe it'll be like those aspired like Star Wars games where they're like, except instead of being PSX graphics, they're scaling like GameCube graphics. I don't know. I know that I bought and played Echoes, but I have no like real memory of it, and I don't really have any like positive memory of it.
Yeah, I mean, Echoes isn't bad. It's just like an inelegant expansion of Prime.
Do you think if this is real that it will have multiplayer? The multiplayer like content?
I can't imagine.
And do you think it'd be online if they do have it?
No. There's no way that they put out the online for Metroid Prime 2. Like, there's just no way.
You think they'll just remaster the single player stuff?
I think they will save the multiplayer stuff for when they eventually release the Metroid Prime online multiplayer trilogy of the multiplayer from Prime 2, Hunters, and of course Federation Forces.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy that collection. We know I would.
Yes. Also, let me just pause here for a second, because like, how weird is it that we're like a point of authority that we are going to like trust is, I mean, just the string of words you have to say that Giant Bomb's latest Nintendogs podcast, last of the Nintendogs podcast journalist Jeff Grubb, like it's mostly nonsense. And I apologize to anyone listening to this because they're like, they like us or they're our families or whatever, and have to hear this nonsense at the front of a Metroid Prime 2 rumor.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what being in fandom is,
yeah,
right?
That's true.
And also, like, this could totally end up not being true.
Yeah.
We have heard, of rumors even before Metroid Prime Remastered was officially revealed that this was in the works. It does feel like, I mean, I like Metroid, and I was really happy to play at Metroid Prime Remastered, and I had a lot of fun with Metroid Fusion. It would feel like a lot of Metroid.
It would be a lot of Metroid for 1 year, for sure. But like, and then like, does that mean that like 3 is on its way?
And I gotta tell you, maybe I am misjudging 3, but I do not have a lot of enthusiasm for replaying 3.
Yeah, but like, why would you just do 1 and 2?
Right. I mean,
why would Super Mario 3D All Stars not have Galaxy 2? I like these. They're all like
unknowable.
Nintendo is an unknowable behemoth.
Let me ask you this though, because we were speculating previously. In the February Direct, we got Metroid Prime Remastered. Mm-hmm. In the June Direct, we got Pikmin 1 and 2.
Right.
And so, in September, could Metroid Prime 2 Echoes be the GameCube remaster that at this point we're all kind of expecting,
or
is it something else? There's been rumors of like the F-Zero GX or whatever that GameCube game was called being in the works as well. And it would be less Metroid in a like short
in
time
a Metroid
period.
heavy year. Yeah, I mean, but like it's also, that's true that it would be less Metroid in a Metroid heavy year. They put out 3 Pikmin games this year on Switch.
Yeah, within a month of each other, basically.
So, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that there are any rules anymore, Mark. I have no idea.
Grubb also teased that there's something related for Zelda later this year. So I'm going to quote him again. This next phrase, I'm afraid to say, so I might not actually say it. Listen, I don't know what it means. I'm going to tell you what they told me, and if you take this and spin it into something else, everybody, it's on you. Okay, it's on you. Something not related to Tears of the Kingdom is happening with Zelda later this year. End quote.
Something, and this is like during this same conversation?
I believe so, yeah.
Because the other like obvious we're talking about GameCube games.
Right.
There are 2 of them that were already remastered on Wii U. I'm referring, of course, to the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Could those be Switch bound? Is that possibly what Grubb is referring to? Or is it something else?
Right. Yeah. That also feels very possible to me. That it's like Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD.
Could it just be? You and I were talking about this earlier, but we're due for some kind of drop on NSO. Could it just be the Oracle games coming to the Game Boy library?
That's actually a great point. It could absolutely be that, because those were already announced for the GBA.
Yeah,
but
they
they
have
haven't
the list
been
of coming
dropped
soon.
yet. Yeah. I mean that seems perfectly plausible to me.
Just as again, to just catch up to where Mark and I were talking before we started recording, because we do the show before we do the show, and then we record, and then we do the show for an hour, and then we turn it off, and then we keep doing the show. But we haven't had we're due for something on Nintendo Switch Online. The last update that we got was the Genesis games that were added on June 28th. Prior to that, June 23rd, Fire Emblem came out on the GBA, and then there was that like quartet of NES, Super NES, and Game Boy games that came out early in June. We've had nothing in July. It's been 3 months since the last Nintendo 64 game, and 3 months prior to that. So that was Pokemon Stadium, and so 3 months before that, in January, was GoldenEye, and almost 3 months before that, I guess 2 months before that, was Mario Party 1 and 2. So like since last November, we've gotten 4 Nintendo 64 games. Not very many. They've obviously been adding other games to other libraries, but even that, the Game Boy Advance, we had the initial opening salvo of like 7 games, and then Metroid Fusion came out in March. The Super Mario Advance games came out in May, and then just Fire Emblem in June. So, you know, trying to look at the past to predict the future is failing us, I feel.
Yeah, for a while I felt like
I had a handle on it.
Yeah, the data was making everything clear, and now it's all fuzzy again. But I feel confident that as soon as we get the next data point, everything will snap back into place.
I believe that's true, Mark. I mean, also we got this last batch of Genesis games early. This batch of Genesis games, just like by their schedule, should have come out late July, but we got them early. I wonder if any of that is just like getting the last of them out the door. How many Genesis games? There are 44 on the Switch right now. How high how big do you think this library gets?
I have no idea. I mean, it does feel like at some point, and maybe we've reached that point where it becomes like the NES, where they just trickle out at very irregular intervals going forward.
The only reason I would push back against that is that it is part of the expansion pack. So I think they are treating those drops as like something a little bit different than like mixing it up with other stuff too. I also just wonder like what the licensing agreements are for those kind of things, because like all the Nintendo consoles are so first party heavy. The GBA and Nintendo 64, I think, are all first party games. And those are all the ones that are, you know, for the expansion pack. So like it's part of like the higher subscription cost. But like what kind of deal do they have with Sega and Sega's partners? Like there was a Street Fighter game in one of these things. Why would they do that?
Yeah, it does make you wonder at what point do those licenses end and we start seeing games like removed from Virtual Console.
Right, and we have not seen that yet. But yeah, it'll be interesting because they can't be on there forever, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, then the first party stuff, sure, like that those agreements could in fact be forever. But like, I mean, James Bond, like, how long could their agreement with Rare, aka Microsoft, and the Broccoli family be, like, to keep that on there?
Yeah. I don't know. It will be. Yeah, it'll be not fun. The first.
No, it'll be upsetting.
Yeah. The first. Well, I think like it'll just be interesting to see how that happens, and maybe like whenever there's a new Switch console is when that break happens. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
You know, we'll see.
And that's when they start rolling out the TurboGrafx 16 games.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm playing Bonk again, I tell you. But yeah, I mean, the something else Zelda related could very well be Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons.
That's such a good call.
We're due for it.
Concerned Ape, the creator of Stardew Valley, has a new game that they're working on, Haunted Chocolatier, that was announced in October 2021.
Are you excited about Haunted Chocolatier?
I am in theory, but remembering that it was announced in October 2021 and, there's been no real update and no release date or anything, like, it might as well not exist right now. You know what I mean?
I mean, it does not exist, right?
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we're not getting new content for Stardew Valley. After originally announcing that the next update to Stardew Valley would mostly focus on changes for modders, Concerned Ape posted a message to social media last week teasing some bigger updates in the upcoming 1.6 update. And so what they posted on Twitter, or X, I guess, is coming in Stardew Valley 1.6, ... New festival, new items, more dialogues, secrets, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Wow. Question mark, question mark, question mark is its own bullet point.
Yes.
That's very exciting. Whenever I see the dialogues plural, it makes me feel like we are studying the classics,
Well, I believe Concerned Ape is Canadian, so it even has a U in there.
Oh, wow.
So it feels very...
it's exotic. Mark, are you excited about this? When's the last time you picked up Stardew Valley?
It's been years.
Yeah.
But that game has such a fond place in my heart that even though I don't know, this would have me booted up again, the idea of like a new festival is intriguing. Secrets? Question mark, question mark, question mark? Like, what could that mean?
Those question marks are intriguing. Maybe there's like some bridge material to the Haunted Chocolatier.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or like a tie-in with that Wonka movie. Is this thing called Wonka?
I think it's just called Wonka.
I refuse to watch that trailer.
I haven't seen it either. Not on any like I don't have a moral stance against it. I just haven't seen it yet.
I have a moral stance against it, and I refuse. It's just one of those things where like seeing like the like bits and pieces that people like post to dunk on, I'm like, this is enough. I'll encounter it in the wild at some point. Like,
yeah.
I'll be sitting in a movie theater and the lights will go down, and then like the trailer will pop up, and I will have a fresh experience with it.
Yeah.
And that feels great. I learned there was going to be a new Hunger Games movie by seeing the trailer. And, like, how exciting is that? That we live in a day and age where you can, like, see a trailer for a movie and be like, oh, I didn't know that was happening.
But here's what I will say for Wonka, a movie whose trailer I have not seen, is that it is directed by the Paul King, who is a producer, writer, and director, and maybe not all of those in all of the movies, but definitely directed the first two Paddington movies. And it continues to be an executive producer on Paddington 3. And the first two Paddington movies are great. Like, they're great. And so that has me, like, keenly interested in what this movie could be.
Sure. I mean, but it's definitely one of those things where you're like, because I had the same thought. We saw the trailer for the Haunted Mansion movie. And I was like, hey, like there are people in that I like. And then like at the end, I was like, oh, it's a Katie Dippold script. And I was like, I like Katie Dippold, but like, seeing this movie, seeing a Haunted Mansion movie. What are we doing?
Also, one more thing on Stardew Valley is, because you were talking about like, when is the last time you've played it? And the answer is like years ago. And so I think that the Switch version is still getting like updates with like new content updates, but I think they're staggered. But
interesting.
But Concerned Ape is like for a while he partnered with Chucklefish as publisher of I think Concerned Ape was always the publisher of the PC version, but like when it expanded to like iOS and Android and Switch, those were published by Chucklefish, and that lasted for a couple of years, and then Concerned Ape like got the publishing right backs to everything.
Yeah.
And so I don't know exactly like how releases are staggered, like if they show up on PC first, which would be my guess, and then eventually stagger out on other platforms. Like I don't really know how that works anymore. But I think Switch is still getting updates.
The Shovel Knight Dig update has not been pushed to Switch yet.
Oh, interesting.
And I would like it because I like Shovel Knight Dig. So we don't know when that Turtles update is coming out either.
Which one? The Shredder's Revenge one?
Yeah, the Dimension Shell Shock DLC.
In a new interview with Famitsu, the president and CEO of Forever Entertainment, whose name I am not even going to pretend to pronounce because the company is from Poland, and I struggle enough with Japanese, and that's phonetic. So there was just no way.
So like one of those C's with a line through it.
I encounter it and I freeze immediately.
Yeah,
it's my own ignorance. Teased a new remake being announced later this year. So Forever Entertainment has published like 50 games on Switch. But they've also teamed up with Sega and Square Enix in the past to develop remakes of their older titles as well. So they were responsible for the Panzer Dragoon remake, the House of the Dead remake, and these like Front Mission 1 and the upcoming Front Mission 2 and 3.
Interesting. Okay, yes.
Plus, they also announced with Square Enix a remake of Fear Effect Reinvented, which I guess Fear Effect was a PlayStation game from the year 2000. But they announced that back in 2017 for a 2018 release, and there's been no news on it other than a trailer from last year, but then again, like no update since then. But all of this is to say, it seems likely or possible that they're working on another Square Enix remake, or maybe something with Sega. I don't know. Is there like a rant? Because some of these I feel like are, at least to me, a little bit random. So is there another random like PlayStation era Japanese game you'd like to see them take on?
That's tough.
For me, it's that like car racing game. Like the car racing RPG.
There's a kart racing RPG.
Oh, so sorry, car racing.
Car racing. Okay,
it's like called like Racing Lagoon, and
it's like a Bahamut Lagoon, but with race cars.
It like mashes up like RPG mechanics with street racing. And it's Japanese only. It never got released in the US, but it was just from that era of like Square where they were doing stuff like Bouncer. Like it was just like
Bouncer would be a little bit later.
Like we can do
PS2
anything.
Game, but yeah. I mean, it like Parasite Eve feels like it would be a perfect kind of
Did we not get a remake of Parasite Eve?
We did not get a remake of Parasite Eve. It just always seems like, why are they not remaking Parasite Eve? So a whole new generation can be disappointed in it. But like, I mean, this isn't going to be something like Final Fantasy Tactics. Like that's too high profile, right?
Seems like it, yeah.
Although weird that Square Enix isn't more aggressive about like, because that is like the last of the like high profile PlayStation era Square Enix games that hasn't really been ported over or like reimagined for modern consoles. So that just seems a little bit weird. I wonder, this is neither Sega or Square Enix, but is Japanese. And I've been crying about this, but where are my Metal Gear Solid VR missions? We're not getting them in that collection. Maybe they could come out. Maybe this Forever Entertainment could make them.
Yeah, maybe they're the ones to make that dream come true.
Do you have any that spring to mind for you?
I mean, just that car racing game.
Just the car racing.
Yeah.
Car racing. Look, Capcom is a Japanese studio. 1999 falls in that same little window. Let's get them to port Power Stone to modern consoles.
Yeah, or is Code Veronica available on modern consoles, just not Switch?
It's I mean, it may be available like the Code Veronica X. It may be on like PS4 and Xbox One. But like it's not a like a particularly good version of it that you could play. No, but yeah, I would love to see Code Veronica. But I mean, Capcom will do that, right? They'll do that themselves at some point.
You would think so, but they haven't yet.
They haven't yet. It's true. Well, okay, but they did 2, 3, and 4. Like they did bigger games.
Oh, I don't mean like remake. Like
I don't mean just remakes. Like a touch up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we talked about Dolphin, the GameCube emulator, being blocked from release on Steam after a lawyer working for Valve reached out to Nintendo, being like, "Hey, just kind of heads up." And Nintendo was like, "Please don't let them do that." The team behind Dolphin has published an update explaining like their side of the situation, and the long and short of it is that they're canceling plans to release on Steam due to the legal risks it poses. But they're gonna continue working on the emulator because they don't they believe that's within their rights. But they just don't want to push the issue with Steam because again, it's one of those things where we talked about this when this first came up, that like a lot of this emulation stuff has not been tested in courts, and nobody really wants to, because the people who are working on emulators don't want to end up in court and having it be ruled that emulation is illegal, and Nintendo or publishers don't want to push it in court and have it backfire on them. And have the court rule that emulation is perfectly legal. And so it's just this gray area that nobody wants to wade into. And that's kind of what happened here. There was no Nintendo didn't send a cease and desist or anything like that. It's all just like threats on the margins in order to get what they want.
Yeah, well, and not even really threats on the margins, right? So much as just people being no, we would defend this if we have to, and then the Dolphin people being all right, there in anything like this, there has to be a point where it's no, take a stand, actually test it out, see what flies, but do you want to be the face of that? Do you want to spend the money to have attorneys represent you and all of that? It's one of the things that it's been interesting during this whole Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard thing, that the FTC obviously was representing its own interests, but that PlayStation was kind of aggressively taking the stance of it's our duty to help this be challenged, right? Spent, I'm sure, a ton of money on attorneys and other things to make the case that they shouldn't be allowed to buy Activision Blizzard, and that's going through, with whatever level of concessions that Microsoft would have made otherwise or wouldn't have made otherwise, and it's just who's going to be the person to anytime any of these things are challenged, huge amounts of money are being thrown around, and man, to believe in something so hard that you're going to spend that kind of money to possibly prove the opposite of what you believe is legal, that's a daring thing to do.
Finally, Patrick, I broke down and bought the Mario Oreo cookies.
Okay.
I mean, they're not here yet. I was buying some other stuff on Amazon, and I was like, you know what? Throw them in there.
Okay,
let's just do it.
All right, okay.
So they'll show up later this week, but next week we're gonna do a quote unquote taste test, because again, they're just Oreos.
They're just Oreos
with faces printed on the cookies.
Do I need to get a bag of a control group bag of non-Mario'd Oreos?
Yeah. I think we do need to.
I have done no research on this, so I'm looking it up in real time here. My friends sent me a text asking if I had. Taylor sent me a text saying, "Patrick, have you played the Oreo Mario game?" And I said, "Ain't no game." And he said, "You don't consider this a game?" And he sent me a link. So I'm going to click on this link now. We're going to see if it's a game or not.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to get on your Wi-Fi.
Thrill as Patrick joins Mark's Wi-Fi in stereo sound.
Save the kingdom. Princess Peach is missing and Bowser is trying to take over her castle.
Okay.
Will you join us and find the right Oreo cookies to help Mario and the other heroes save the Mushroom Kingdom? I'm accepting cookies, which is, what are you going to do? Okay, there's a buy now button. Complete this mission to help Mario and others save the Mushroom Kingdoms. I have 2 weeks left. There's a thing that I can unmute here. Okay. Turning up the volume on my phone. We're playing this game in real time. There's an Oreo that you drop into a thing of milk. Oh, what's happening here?
It just turned into a...
Okay,
here we go.
So it's a some kind of pachinko machine that's dropping an Oreo. Do I tap on it? How do I... I think it's just a video.
I'm truly confused.
I am genuinely confused. So I don't know. Look into it. Maybe there's a game there. I don't.
Okay, so maybe I think the plan now, as I'm hearing it, is I'm going to finish Tears of the Kingdom,
right?
even if that means risking a big floppy hat that fits my head perfectly.
That's right, and I'm gonna beat this.
The maybe Oreo Mario game, and then next week we're going to taste test 2 bags of Oreo, and one will have like Mario faces stamped on them.
Right, and we have to finish the bags, otherwise it doesn't count.
Deal.
All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. That is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, you should be in our Discord. Email us and we'll send you an invitation. Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.